Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, March 13th, 2016. This is episode 1270. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring? With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100-plus job sites, including social networks, all with a single click. You'll screen, you'll rate, you'll hire the right candidate fast. Try ZipRecruiter with a free 4-day trial right now at ZipRecruiter.com/TechGuy. And by Epson's new EcoTank printers. With Epson's line of SuperTank all-in-one printers, you can print thousands of documents without running out of ink. EcoTank is loaded and ready to print when you are. Visit Epson.com/EcoTank to find out more. And by Prosper. Prosper is a peer-to-peer lending marketplace that connects people who are looking to borrow money with those who have money to lend. Visit Prosper.com/TechGuy to apply for a loan now. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time for computer talk. Actually, really, it hasn't been computer talk in a while, has it? It's really more, well, internet talk, home theater discussion, digital photography conundrums, smartphone purchasing, smartwatch wearing, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Congratulations on making it today. We did spring forward, didn't we, a bit? So many of you are still asleep. With any luck. I know I am. And I really know Kim Schaffer, our phone ranger, is. Oh, poor Kim. You got that last bit of a winter cold, and then it'll be over.
I hope so.
It has a summer cold. Yeah. Is it any different now? I think it's a little bit different now. It used to be that you had to go around, set the clocks on the Sunday morning of daylight saving time. And now, well, doesn't everything fix itself?
Maybe not the microwave.
Yeah, there's a few things like the microwave. Even my clocks at home, and I don't know, I have a fetish about clocks, which is funny because I'm chronically late. So there's really they're kind of a mismatch between my ambition and my achievements. But I have clocks all over the house, but almost all of them are radio clocks. You know, the ones that set themselves automatically from the atomic time clock in Fort Collins, Colorado. I like to know that everything's accurate. And then, of course, if you have a smart watch, well, it set itself automatically. If you had a smartphone, it set itself automatically. In fact, here's a fun thing. I never did this before. I was up at 1:59 this morning. I was curious. What happens at 2 a.m.? Do the little elves come out and they labor laboriously to crank the clock ahead like Keebler elves? No. I actually took pictures of it. I have to figure out how I can post them. I'm watching my smartphone. It's 1:59, and then boom, it's 3 a.m. There goes an hour. Shot. And with any luck, an hour we'll never get back again. Yes, once again, every 6 months there's a movement to abolish the time change. Maybe this time it'll take. Sure would be nice. There's a campaign afoot to abolish. Well, now, see, first of all, you have to decide, do we stay with daylight saving time? I think that's what most people want to do. Or do we stay with standard time? Because or as they say in Britain, do we go to British summertime, BST, or do we stay with Greenwich Mean Time, GMT? That's really confusing. Abolish the time change, and we'll worry about the details later. It is a big. It was created in 1918 to save energy, but as somebody pointed out, we don't use energy today as we used it in 1918. And in fact, it doesn't save energy. It even really may use more energy. And there are certainly other issues. Heart attack rates go up on the Monday. On the Monday after the time change. And that's because when you lose an hour of sleep, I guess you're more stressed, more vulnerable. Car accidents are up. People miss meetings. That's kind of minor compared to heart attacks and car accidents. But there's a pretty strong case for ending this time change. Some say, oh, you do it for the farmers. Really? Yeah, no, I don't think so. And it seems like we talk about this every 6 months or whatever, how often it is. There is a petition on the We the People site. You know, this is the first thing the next president's going to do is abolish this thing. the petition thing. If you get enough signatures, and this one's closed, if you get enough signatures, then the White House has to respond. This was published in 2013, only got 19 signatures. Oh, well, that's not going to do. We got to find one that has more signatures than that. And then lawmakers in California propose ending it. Washington State, Oregon State, in years past, they've said, let's end it. But we only think of this, a couple of times a year on the day the clock changes, and particularly this day, because, of course, we lost an hour. Gaining an hour, people aren't complaining about quite so much. Losing an hour now, that's something bad. There is no benefit. That's the main point. There's no benefit. It's just tradition at this point that we change the clocks. There is no benefit, and you can make such a strong case for what a bad idea it is. But it just shows you how difficult it is to change things like this. We're just kind of stuck with it. I bet you. I don't see, every year, there's a website created by folks who make an app called Hello. It's kind of, and Sense, it's a sleep app. And I think, sleep app, it's appropriate. They've made a stopdst.com. Let's stop DST 2016. 17% rise in fatal accidents the Monday following the switch, because people are groggy. You mean tomorrow, Does it save energy? No. In fact, according to the National Bureau of Economic Research, and this research study was in 2006, 10 years ago, the change to daylight saving time leads to a 1% overall rise in electricity use in the state of Indiana anyway, costing the state an extra $9 million, and it could be higher in other regions. $9 million in Indiana alone. Save energy? No, quite the opposite. 68% increase in days lost due to workplace injury on the Monday following, and a 25% increase in heart attack risk because of the hour of sleep lost. Let's stop it. Hashtag stop DST. Finally, a use for social media. Stop the insanity. The chat room, somebody says, but then we'll lose the best day of the year. The day in November when we set the clocks back and we get an extra hour in bed. I feel like we should really do something about this, but again, it's always this day every year, and then we just kind of forget about it. I guess there are more pressing issues, aren't there? I guess. It's funny. Yesterday I talked about President Obama speaking at South by Southwest, the big geek festival going on right now in Austin, Texas. Really, festival is more like a party, is really what it is. And the president went there to, I think, do a good thing, which is to encourage geeks, coders, startup folks to use their impressive energies to make government work better for all of us. Hey, that sounds good. Can't be nothing wrong with that. So he gives his little talk. and gets everybody all fired up. Yeah, we're gonna, and there's things like there's Code for America. Look that one up, Code for America, which was an initiative created, I think, now 8 years ago when Obama first went into office to get coders to write software to help make things better, like the petition on WhiteHouse.gov, stuff like that. All well-intentioned and probably a good idea. Because, I think what happens in Silicon Valley is we geeks get focused on our issues, and we don't really, we almost dial out of general society. We have our own little enclave that we kind of hide in, our own little gated community. And a lot of geeks just kind of turn their back on technology. So I want to celebrate that, because that's a good thing. But we got to take a break because it's your calls coming up. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time keep on slipping. It did, didn't it? At 1:59, it slipped into 3 a.m. I got those screenshots. I thought, man, I'm smart. And then I thought, well, what I'd really like to do is post an Instagram image of the clock, because you could tell it's just a second later because the battery life is the same and everything. But I can't figure out how to do that. I should call the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. Man, it's too bad. It's really too bad that there isn't somebody you could just call and ask questions like that of.
But there
just
is.
A phone number that you could ring, 888, something like, it would be great if it were like 8888 Ask, I don't know, some guy named Leo. 8888 Ask Leo. It was so great. Who does a tech guy call, though? That's the problem. Is there like a super tech guy?
The chat room.
The chat room. That's the super tech guy. The chat room is 1,000 minds crying out in horror. No, that's something else. It's 1,000 minds thinking at the same time. It's kind of like that Go playing machine, AlphaGo. I'm going to talk about that. We've been talking a little bit about it, but big news last night. The Korean Go master beat the computer. He'd lost 3 games in a row, but at least Sadal finally kind of maybe figured it out and beat AlphaGo. So that's good. Score 1 for the humans. It's not really, somebody said, oh, it's not humans versus machines. It's humans versus programmers. And I guess you're right. And in a way, it's not fair, is it? Poor Lee Sedol, one guy, oh yeah, admittedly, 18-time world Go champion. Go's a Asian game of conquest. It's really wonderful board game. Played not so much in the U.S., but very popular around Asia. And it's a wonderful game. I've played it. It's great. Very challenging. Turns out to be very hard for computers to do. So really, you could say it was like a bunch of computer programmers ganging up on Lee Sedol is what really happened. Come play me face to face, I'll show you. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Also the website I should mention, techguylabs.com. techguylabs.com. And that's free. There's no sign up or anything. You just keep a track of that. That's all you have to remember. You don't have to remember the phone number, the chat room address, anything, because it's all at the website, techguylabs.com. Now, Kim Schaffer has been lining up phone calls for us.
I have.
And I see an empty line, which is a rare thing at this time of day.
2 people just dropped off. So
they hung up.
What's going on. Yeah, I don't.
They heard you talking, and they were afraid they were gonna catch a cold.
It's gonna come through the phone.
I don't. She's giving me the sniffles. Now, fortunately, there's a double pane of glass separating us.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there's a reason for that. You can sneeze all you want. I've got a sneeze guard.
Poor Burke over here.
Burke has to sit next to you. Yeah, I'm sorry. You sound so unhappy.
This may be the first time I've ever not been cold in this building.
You're warm now.
Actually.
Okay. Good. They turned the heat up for you. So who should I start with?
Let's go with Susan in Fullerton. She has a computer tech that has access to her computer remotely, and she has questions.
Yeah, I don't blame her for that. I'd be worried too. Hi, Susan. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad you don't blame me for that.
I know.
Remote access is our subject, and when the problem's small enough, the tech can do it from his home office, and we're in front of our computer. When our current tech guy came to our home for the first time about a year ago, and I should say we like him very much and trust him, but he said something like, I'm going to put this on your computer so I can do it remote. We didn't think much about it. We're not real savvy, although fairly. And after he left, we began to think about, what did he say? And,
He really should. It's really important if you're going to do that to, I would say, to ask and spell out what you're doing very carefully to your clients so they understand.
Right. Well,
and it is a matter of trust because it's a great thing. I do it with my mom, for instance.
Right.
Because then my mom's in Rhode Island, I'm in California. If she has a problem, I can log into her computer, see her screen, modify things, fix things for her in a way that I couldn't do because I'm not in Rhode Island.
Well, now in the past, and we had a tech guy for a long time that changed jobs, so that's how we got our new one. But they would do it, and I think it's great, but they would do it by putting something in their computer at their office, and we'd do something at ours, and they could see it for that, in our mind anyway, one time only.
That would be a better way to do it. And there are services like LogMeIn, TeamViewer, GoToMeeting that require the client's cooperation.
Right.
It will, just as your previous guy did, he'll send you an invitation to allow him in each time you give permission. And so that would be a preferable way to do it. I would talk to your tech and say, can we please do it that way? Because then now the disadvantage is he can't fix things when you're not home.
Well, and we really don't want him to.
Yeah, so don't.
He could fix plenty when we're not home.
I mean, to his credit, he told you he was doing it, so...
He did, and we didn't realize that it was just any time until something came up when he said...
Oh, I fixed that for you.
Or I can, let's see, I can see that right now, and I'm thinking... Really? Because my husband was in the other room on the computer.
We're all at the mercy, unfortunately, of the tech savvy. Unless you're equally savvy.
We are not.
and by the way, unless it's your full-time job, you're probably not.
Well, and isn't that why we have him?
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't need a tech guy if you knew all the ins and outs of this. So we're always at the mercy. In fact, if you really think about it, life is a trust exercise. When you're driving down the highway, you're trusting that the guy coming in the opposite direction isn't going to veer into you at the last minute. I mean, driving is a matter of trust. Everything is trust. We trust Nabisco not to put, poison in our cereals. So that's life. Sure. And it's very much the case with computing that you're running software from a variety of companies, not just Microsoft or Apple, who make the operating system, but from a variety of companies who make the software. And you just trust that they're not doing something nefarious. But any program you could put on your computer could, in theory, turn on the camera, turn on the microphone, look at your screen. They all have that capability. It's interesting, when not me personally, but when mobile operating systems were designed, those kinds of things were kind of blocked, were prevented. In fact, that's one of the reasons the iPhone is a secure platform, is because Apple intentionally said, a program cannot turn on the camera without first asking your permission. Mm-hmm. And on the iPhone, they have to ask it more than once. On Android, they ask, and once you give permission, it's blanket permission. You can go back and retract it. You can look at who has permission. But again, it's a good system where software can't just willy-nilly do whatever it wants. But on because of history, our desktop operating systems, it can. So he told you he did it. I would say a good thing to do, although, again, you're at his mercy no matter what, is to ask him to remove it and do something where it's invitation-based only. He'll do that. There's lots of programs. That's the more typical way of doing it.
Does the invitation-based only cost him a lot of money?
No, they're free solutions, although that may be one of the... For commercial use as he's doing it probably does cost him money. I ask him... Hold on, we're going to take a break and come back because that's a good subject. Leo, just hang on for a sec. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Putting Android N on my Nexus 6 here. Let's see, is it ready? Yes. So I put it on my Pixel and I really liked it. And since I'm using mostly the Galaxy S7 as my main phone right now, I thought, well, I could put the beta on my Nexus 6P. Android. This device is enrolled in the Android beta program and allows developers and enthusiasts to try out the pre-release versions of Android N. It's so new, it's not named. Okay? Yeah, okay. I probably should use the Google Now launcher just to see what's new, huh? I don't normally use it, but I'll turn that on. A couple of things. First of all, it has a split screen. That's less useful, I think, on a phone, but it's great on a tablet. It makes the Pixel C really fantastic. You'll see immediately that the notifications have changed. It's kind of hard to see at that distance, but they're grouping them now. So these are all the Telegram notifications grouped together, and then if I tap that, it'll separate those out. Actually, just launches it. So notifications are different. The settings screen is different now. Oh, I see. I only have one page of quick settings, but I can now edit these and add more. Let's put this one up here. They have, finally, an ICE program in case of emergency that you set up so that you have on your lock screen, your blood type, next of kin. I shouldn't say next of kin. That sounds like you're dead. Your emergency contact, things like that. I'll show you the Waze has become very buggy on, and I'll show you the. If you press and hold recents, actually, let me launch a couple of different programs here, so we have some things to play with. If Instagram doesn't like it. All right. So now, if I press and hold the recents button, let's go into it first, and press and hold it. I say, son. I thought that's how you did it. Well, never mind, because there's a way to get the split screen. I don't know. What? Wasn't it press and hold? Now what's going on? I was trying to get the split screen. Oh well. It's nice. I like it. Oh, I went back to Nova Launcher. Hello. That's probably why. That's funny. Oh no, it's not Nova Launcher. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. What else? Yeah, I have to take Waze off. Waze does not work. Waze lately, it's been crashing a lot on my Marshmallow-based S7 as well. What else is new? Tell you, just just putting it on the Pixel. Let me uninstall this. Putting it on the Pixel by itself is huge. I don't know why I can't. It's press and hold recents, wasn't it? Long press, I should say. Guess not. I've kept Susan on the line because I think this is a good topic. I want to talk a little bit more about it. Susan Fullerton, she says they got a new tech guy helping them at home, which is great. It's great if you have somebody good. Man, that makes a big difference.
And we do.
Yeah, somebody can come over, fix things, make sure it's secure, that kind of stuff. But as he was leaving, kind of as a side thought, he mentioned that he'd put a remote access program on his computer so he could fix it, on their computer, so he could fix it when they weren't home, or when he was at home and he just wanted to fix something. And Susan rightly is worried about that. And as I mentioned, it is a matter of trust. Although there are other choices, he could use the same kind of thing that your previous tech guy used, and I would ask him about that. GoToMeeting is not free, but it's a great solution. Not GoToMeeting. It's from the same company. GoToAssist is free, but it's not. It's not free, but it's not expensive, and a lot of tech people use that. There are a lot of choices. There are free choices like TeamViewer and LogMeIn. But I think for commercial use, he should, unless he's a cheapskate, already have a license for something like this.
Well, I don't know. He's fairly young and maybe doesn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to be charging now. The first year was, in quote unquote, free.
Wow.
It's now $15 a year to us.
That's nothing.
Right.
15? 1.5 a year?
Right.
Oh, he's a nice kid. Is he like 12?
No, he's older than that, actually, now that I think about it.
He's being very, that's basically free.
Right, but okay, so we're...
And then does he charge you an hourly rate or something?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, okay. How much is the hourly rate?
I believe it's 100.
That's fair.
Yeah.
For somebody who's skilled, if he takes 18 hours to fix something, that's not fair. But
and we have absolutely no complaints about the cost of anything, the rate to fix it or the yearly, if that's what need be. We don't want to be paranoid, and we don't want to be cut off our nose to spite our face.
Yeah.
They say we just, we order things by credit card over the phone, but we.
Yeah, no. There's, this is the question. I mean, once somebody has physical access, here's the real truth. Once somebody has physical access to your computer, all bets are off. They can do so many bad things to you without your knowledge. So just by letting somebody touch your computer, come into your house and touch your computer, you're giving them permission. You're saying, I trust you. Right. Not to put a remote access Trojan on there or, something vile, a keystroke logger. It'd be a simple thing for him to do. You could even, if he could do it while you went to get a cup of tea, to take a little dongle out, connect it to your keyboard connector, then connect your keyboard into your computer, and that dongle will record every keystroke you make from now on. And then the next time he comes, he just takes it home, and he's got all your passwords and everything you've ever typed and credit cards and all that. It's an easy thing to do. So you're trusting anybody who touches your computer, you're trusting them.
So are you kind of saying, bottom line, let him do it?
Well, I'm saying that if he's malicious, it's too late.
Right, okay.
If you tell him, I'm uncomfortable with you just coming on our computer at any old time, would you mind using an invitation-only system? He should do it. He probably will do it. But it doesn't make you safe because, he may say, and I've removed the other program. Wingo, bingo, dingo, and it's gone, and who knows?
Right.
So it's a matter of you're absolutely, no matter what, when you have a computer person in your house to fix your computer, it's a matter of trust. A little different when you bring it to a shop because you can sanitize the hard drive. You can, and they have physical access to it. But, and again, it takes some sophistication on your part to then take it home and make sure that it's clean and free of stuff. You would really want to wipe the hard drive and start over. And even then, if they were truly malicious, they could bury stuff into the firmware of your video card or your motherboard, and you would never know. So if somebody's malicious, once they have access to your computer, it's done. We talked a couple of weeks ago about a really great experiment a writer named Kevin Roos did. He's at fusion.net. He let two professional hackers hack him. Mm-hmm. With the proviso that they would unhack him after the experiment was done, and that they wouldn't do anything really bad to him.
Trust, huh?
And they completely owned him. I mean, it was terrible. Mm-hmm. But then he asked an expert, well, what do you do about that? And the expert said, look, there's nothing you can do about that. He said, you walk down the street every day and you don't worry about the fact that a trained martial artist could walk up to you and rip your heart from your rib cage, and there's nothing you could do about it. Why do you not worry about it? Because it's highly unlikely. It's not that you can prevent it. It's highly unlikely. So unless you're a target, and it's kind of the same situation here. We're all pretty hackable. The truth is, as much as we do for security purposes, we're all fairly vulnerable, all the more so if you let somebody touch your machine.
Right. Now, so is he also. The other thought that entered our mind is he had told us about an adult son that he has that is not necessarily the most outstanding person in the world.
Oh, that's something to worry about.
Well, we thought of that. Doesn't live at home, but obviously
I would say I'm sure this guy is protecting you against his not upstanding son. I would hope so. But if the not upstanding son happens to have similar computer skills, comes home, dad is asleep, he gets on dad's computer and starts seeing what's up. Mm-hmm. So, but again, it's a matter of trust. I can think of scenarios till the cows come home, all sorts of horrific scenarios, all the time. As soon as you learn about security, you realize, this is terrible. Sure. There is no security, but there isn't in life.
You are so right, and I think you've done your good deed for the day.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. You trust the guy, and it comes down to that. It's if you trust the guy, and I would say just for your own peace of mind, make sure he does an invite-only system. But it doesn't even matter because if he's a bad guy, it's already over.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, what a great question, though. Because I think a lot of times, and it's really good for traffic and for viewership and so forth. We in the tech media will overhype these security flaws and get people all scared because it drives a lot of traffic. It's a good thing. The truth is far worse. That's not good for traffic. The truth is, it doesn't matter. We're all vulnerable. This is the world we live in, and it's why the tech industry is so upset with the federal government for asking us to be more vulnerable. And it's this whole Department of Justice versus Apple, which is really not about that phone or Apple or terrorism or the Department of Justice. It's really about the federal government wanting Silicon Valley to lower our guard. I don't say its guard, lower our guard, because they're saying to Silicon Valley, hey, stop making these things so secure. That's getting in the way of law enforcement. And maybe it is getting in the way of law enforcement, although I would submit if law enforcement had some of these good hackers that we're talking about, they would have even better ways of getting in. I think it's a big mistake to lower our guard in any way, because it's impossible to just lower it for lawful investigations from the government or law enforcement. It's impossible to do that. Lowering your guard means lowering your guard, period. Making a system vulnerable means making it vulnerable, period. And this is not up for argument. It's a fact. It's just the way it is. So it's a nice fantasy to say, well, we should really make it easier for law enforcement to enforce the laws. I agree. It should be as easy as possible. But it's a fantasy, because it's not that. It's lowering our guard against everybody and everything. And so asking Silicon Valley, come on, help us out. Make everything less secure. That's a non-starter. It's not a matter of politics or compromise or negotiation. It's a non-starter. We should be making things more secure. They're horribly insecure as it is. And by the way, law enforcement knows that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, Snowden's right. Everybody knows that. So what Snowden's saying is, of course, the FBI knows how to get into that phone. Now, this is speculation. There is a way that the FBI, it would be slow, could get into that phone. They know so when the 10 tries and you're out thing on any phone, but on the iPhone in particular, the thing where you guess 10 times incorrectly at the passcode, then the phone erases itself. The phone doesn't erase itself. The phone erases the encryption key. And without the encryption key, of course, because it's good encryption, not backdoored encryption, no one can read the contents. So the phone isn't erased. All the data is still there. It's just encrypted. All that's erased, and that's why it's so fast, all that's erased is the encryption key. Well, it turns out that encryption key is stored in an area of memory that can be backed up. Oh, what? You can make a copy of it. And the FBI knows how to do this. Anybody knows how to do this if you have the right hardware. So you make a copy of the secure enclave. You don't have to understand what's in it. You just make a copy of it. Try 10 times. If the phone erases itself, then you restore the thing. Try 10 more times. Then you restore the key. 10 more times, restore the key. So that's one obvious way to do it that everybody knows about. There are maybe others. We suspect that the NSA and others have come up with some exploits. That's not really what the Department of Justice wants Apple to do. What really it comes down to, I think, is they want the court to set a precedent that they can demand custom firmware. That law enforcement can, with a court order, go to Apple or any other company and say, you need to modify your software for us in pursuit of an investigation. Custom firmware is the key. And I don't have a problem with law enforcement getting into that phone. That's a good thing. But you can't do these kinds of you can't demand these kinds of custom firmware without great risk. You can't lower your guard without lowering it for everyone. So when President Obama says we've got to stop fetishizing these phones, nobody's fetishizing the phone. It's not about the phone at all. It's about giving the federal government power to reduce our security. And it's not, when you reduce security, it's not just for bad guys. And it's not just the government that gets access to that. It's everybody, for everybody. So, we have enough problems with security. This is not the time to reduce it. I kind of reject the anti-government argument, like the government shouldn't have access to our phone. Law enforcement with a warrant, duly appointed. That's the way it is in this country, and it should be this way. That's called a search warrant, and there has to be probable cause, and there's checks and balances, and it's a necessity. I understand that, and I also understand the technology is making it harder for them to search anything they want to search, and I understand their concern with that, and that's all legitimate, frankly. But the problem is, you can't make that easy for law enforcement to get in without making it easy for everybody else to get in. Number one. You can't. Number two, and that's what Apple's position is, and then number two is bad guys will always have access to strong encryption. So you're not actually winning any battle, you're just making it less safe for normal people. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Such a great discussion. The discussion of security, how much security we are owed, how much we need. And I think we would all agree, more secure is better. More secure is better. Don't you? Don't you? Don't you? What? But I think, unfortunately, and this is maybe the dirty little secret that people don't want to talk about, it's a losing battle. It's a losing battle. As we add more devices connected to the internet to our house, in fact, that was the conclusion of the NSA, the National Security Agency. Don't worry. Don't worry. You're not going dark. We can see lots of stuff, and we're seeing more all the time because you keep putting in refrigerators that talk to the internet and devices that listen to you and connect to the internet, and your TV's connected to the internet. Just keep doing that. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. The sad fact is it doesn't impact the real bad guys. If you're really a bad guy, it's not hard to learn how to be secure, to communicate securely. It's easy. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. We just heard a story about WhatsApp, a very widely used messaging program from Facebook that employs good, strong encryption and is opaque to law enforcement. All they have to do is download the app and use it on their phone, and it's opaque. Can't see into it. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. You can't go onesie-twosie to every application in the world. There's 70 countries making secure encryption products. So a bad guy knows, there's no problem. There's a new one I love, just came out of Switzerland called Wire. Put this on your phone or your computer, Wire. You now have totally secure phone calls, messaging, and video, video calls. Completely secure, opaque to law enforcement. Anybody can use it. It's out of Switzerland. Good luck, Congress, trying to stop that. You can't. And a bad guy there's plenty of tools a bad guy can use. You know who gets really messed up by reducing security? You and me. Good guys. People who are not trying to break the law. But our security is reduced because we're not willing or able to get strong encryption. We're just counting on companies like Apple to provide us with encryption and hope it works. So then we lose, and the bad guys just continue on because they know how to do it. They don't have. See, if you're really a bad guy, you probably don't want a TV that's connected to the internet or a refrigerator that's connected to the internet. You cut all those things off. You use strong encryption in all your communications. You're opaque. 8888 Ask Leo. Omar in Los Angeles. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Omar.
Hi, Leo. Thank you for taking my call.
I hear you had some trouble.
Yes. Over the weekend, we were hit by ransomware.
Oh.
So
when you say we, your business or home?
Yes, the business.
Oy. Tell me.
Now we have a bunch of LOL files.
Yeah. So the ransomware gets on your system in a variety of different ways. Sometimes it's an email. Sometimes it's a link you click. Could be any employee, because what it does is once it gets on the network, it goes out and seeks out all the computers on the network, and unless they're protected, it spreads. Now your business files are scrambled in such a way that you can't unlock them. They're asking for money. How much money are they asking for?
Well, the guy that saw it kind of erased everything already, so I'm not sure what was the...
Okay. I hope you have good backups.
The newest one, or the oldest one we have, is 2 weeks old.
Do you have an IT guy?
Yes. And
Fire him now. Fire him today. Fire him, because he's not any good. Any backup, any IT guy, first thing he does, make sure you have up-to-date backups constantly. And that's not hard to do. Second thing he does is he makes sure that you have barriers against malware entering your system. If this IT guy is terrible, it's time to fire him.
The latest backup apparently was also encrypted. So the one previous to that was 2 weeks old, which is
right.
quite
So that's why it's important to have strong versioning backup that lets you go back in time. Of course, because nobody noticed the ransomware, it backed up the encrypted files.
Yep.
There's nothing, by the way, there's no answer to your conundrum. You're out of luck. I want to use a stronger term, but it is the radio. You're out of luck, my friend. These ransomware programs, the encryption is strong. You're not the IT guy, are you?
No.
Oh, good. So you don't have to fire yourself. He hasn't done his job, and this is a lesson to everybody listening. You're vulnerable to this, and remember the hospital in L.A. that had to pay $17,000 to unencrypt their stuff. Now, the truth is, first of all, they're very lucky, because a lot of times you pay the money and you get nothing, or you get a key that doesn't work. A lot of times what happens is law enforcement shuts down the key server that would have given you the key. They say, oh, look, we've got a guy who's doing ransomware. They shut down the server, and even if you paid him money, you're not going to get a key. So really, you've lost your data. Disaster has struck.
Is there a way to create some kind of like hot swappable backup solution?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do an ad for Carbonite right now. Listen to it. Good backup software will solve this problem. And the reason is it continually makes versions, and you can go back and get an earlier version. If this is not the ad yet, but if you go to Carbonite.com and look in the white paper section, they have a white paper on CryptoLocker and the other ransomware programs and what you need to do to avoid it. If you're an IT guy, your number one job, there are many, but your number one job is to make sure that the business has backups that are reliable and will not be corrupted by malware. Number one job, because now you've got trouble in your business, right? You're 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks of who knows what that you've lost.
Yes.
That could be sales. That could be customer counts. It could be all sorts of things. You also have a fiduciary responsibility, every business does, to protect your customers' information. If that malware got on there, who knows what else is on there? Your IT guy is not doing his job. If you don't want to fire him, you tell him you need to learn the fundamentals of your trade, my friend, because you've not done us well. And the chickens have come home to roost, as they say. I'm so sorry that that happened to you, Omar. The answer, by the way, isn't necessarily one particular product, but a backup product that preserves versions and keeps your backup safe from backing up your corrupted files, and it needs to be a continuous backup. And you should, I mean, if you're choosing a backup solution, your number one question should be, what happens if I get hit by ransomware? How can I recover? And how much am I going to lose? I'm so sorry that happened to you, Omar. And really, this is a case of the IT guy not doing his job. And if you're an IT guy and you're listening to this, a chill should go down your spine, and you should immediately think about what would happen if ransomware got in your system, how you keep malware off, not just ransomware, how you keep malware off. Think about Sony Pictures Entertainment. That company was practically shut down by a malware attack. How to keep it off, how to keep it from getting infected, and then what you do if you do get infected. That's your job. Do your job. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Poor Omar. God, that sucks. But when I see, like, this hospital down for weeks because they got hit by ransomware, it's like the first thing I think of is, where was the IT department? And by the way, that should really scare people because a hospital has all sorts of personal information about people. And if ransomware can get on the system, there gives me absolutely no confidence that they're not also leaking personal information like a sieve. Yeah, forget $17,000 in ransomware. The HIPAA fines will be worse. Right, they should be. This is a good white paper. Thing is, it's not. None of this is at this point is unknown, right? This is well known. A year ago you could say, "Oh, well, who knew that was going to happen?" And you can't say that now. When you fire that IT guy, can I suggest ZipRecruiter for hiring the new one? I'm going to get another ad in here. Time to hire, and if you're in charge, that could be a scary thing. It happens, of course, right when you're short-staffed, the worst time for hiring. And if you're the person in charge, you wanted to get this done fast, but you also want to hire the right person because really, what is a company but the people that make up the company, right? Not just the guy in charge. It's everybody. The people you hire are what makes a company good or bad. So it's so important to hire the right person. That right person is out there. Okay, this is Article of Faith. Well, number one, the right person is out there. You got to find the right person. Now, maybe they're not on that job board, that one job board or Craigslist. Maybe they're on another job board. So what ZipRecruiter does to start is post it on 100+ job boards with one click of the mouse. So you go to ZipRecruiter and post your job there, and then they post it on 100+ job boards plus Twitter and Craigslist and Facebook and everywhere else. So your job listing is seen by everybody. Now that scares people too because they go, "Well, I don't want 1 million resumes." Yes, you do. You want the right, because somewhere in there, in that haystack is the needle, the right person. So what ZipRecruiter does is gives you an interface to all the applicants. They don't email you or call you. They can't. They don't have your number. They go into the ZipRecruiter interface. And that's where you go in and you can screen out the ones you don't want. You can rank the rest and you can hire the right person fast. By the way, you will get a lot of applicants because they also match up to 6 million current resumes. ZipRecruiter reaches out to candidates as well. In fact, you see if you go to ZipRecruiter.com, there's post a job, but there's also find a job. And so they have a ton of applicants, 6 million resumes, current resumes right now. So those will start rolling in the first day. Really, this works. Over 400,000 businesses have used ZipRecruiter. We've used it. And we got an email from Dan. He said, the hardest part about running a business when you need to hire, this is just what I said, is that you have to spend extra time recruiting while you're short-staffed. But with ZipRecruiter, I've gotten quality candidates within 24 hours of posting a job. ZipRecruiter's website makes this process so much faster by letting me manage candidates in one place. ZipRecruiter. Now, we got a 4-day trial for you. It's probably enough to hire the person. ZipRecruiter.com/techguy. Try it free. ZipRecruiter, ZipRecruiter.com/techguy, all one word. ZipRecruiter. I understand. I mean, you can use XP, but if you use XP, then the burden is on you to make sure you're secure. It's all right. It's Darwin at work. It's Darwinian. Instagram detected problems with the app native libraries. Please consult log for detail. So Instagram works, but it gives you errors. Gives you a little error when you launch it on Android N. But it works. Whatever that library is. No, but I'm going to get the dot, and then I'm going to use the dot with my Sonos speakers. I see the end is near for Sonos, I think. Sad to say. I don't know because I just switched to N on my 6P. So I don't know. I will not know anything more about Android. What is it called? Marshmallow. Actually, I have Marshmallow on this. On the Galaxy S7. Marsha. Mallow. I can't get Wire working because it won't send me a code. They must be swamped right now. Why do I think that, Dr. Mom? Because I think that their secret sauce is rapidly not being unique. You know, the Chromecast audio, it's $35, can take any speaker. They're so expensive. You overpay for the speakers for the Sonos capability, and they don't have speech. I think that they're just going to, you know, in the next few months, you're going to see so many solutions that will do what Sonos does for less, or it lets you use your own speakers, because there's so many great speakers out there. Well, doubtful? They're laying off people, Brian. Maybe doubtful, but... Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, anything with a chip in it. And, of course, yes, security, too. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. 888-827-5536. It's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. And if you aren't in those areas, just call me on Skype. That's okay, too. I'll take it. John, Kingsford, Michigan. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling, John.
No problem. Long-time listener. Enjoy it.
Well, thank you. What can I do for you?
My question is, right now, I have a AV receiver. I run my HDMI from all my DirecTV box, PlayStation 4, Chrome, Fire Stick, all that stuff through into the AV receiver to my TV. Am I sacrificing video quality by doing that?
Well, if everything's digital, no. And it is, isn't it? It's HDMI and...
Yep.
Yeah. If it were analog, a splitter can, reduce the signal and you can cause ghosting and problems. But digital either works or doesn't.
Okay.
So if the bits are getting through, the bits survive the perilous journey through the switcher and they get through and you see a picture, you're fine. There are, you can introduce some oddball stuff, but I wouldn't worry about it. If the picture looks okay, you're not losing anything.
I've noticed recently on some channels on DirecTV, I've been getting a lot of kind of like juddering. I was thinking maybe that's something to do with it.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the things that can happen. That might be a bandwidth issue.
Okay.
What juddering is dropping frames.
Okay.
So it will be smooth as long as you get 60 frames per second. If you get 20 frames per second, it will look a little herky-jerky.
Could it be something to do with the HDMI cable? Probably chances are slim with that, but, it is a possibility, right?
Yeah. Again, the nice thing about digital is it tends to be a cliff. You're either getting all the bits or none of the bits.
Okay. So it's all or nothing.
Yeah, I don't think that's the source of the juddering, but you could easily verify it by eliminating the splitter and connecting directly in and just seeing what happens. Does it look better?
Yeah, the reason why I did it is because just length of cable that I'd have to buy.
Length is an issue with digital. That's the one big issue.
Okay.
I've seen studies of HDMI cables, and they're typically 6 feet or a couple of meters. And at that length, no problem. All HDMI cables are equal. When you get more, when you get to 5, 6, 7 meters, then yes, you can have problems. They may still work, but you might get some weird artifacts like juddering. And that's when a better cable might make a difference. So how far is it?
I would say it's just over 6 feet, and that's where I'm kind of in the middle, because either go from 6 feet to 9 feet.
Right.
And I'm trying to stay under that, because I know what you're saying. I try to stay under the 9 feet.
Yeah, distance
and
can
that's
make a
why
difference.
I went to running everything into the receiver to eliminate that.
Yeah, and AV receivers are not really like splitters. It's not the same as that. They're much better than that. So you're not really splitting the signal out. And in fact, you wouldn't even the distance to the AV receiver doesn't add then to the distance to the TV.
Okay.
That's any given single cable shouldn't be more than 2 meters. But if you like 2 meters to the receiver and then another 2 meters to the TV, the receiver is amplifying it, so that's not an issue.
Okay. All right. Well,
I think you're probably all right. Again, you could verify it by just connecting the DirecTV box directly to the TV and seeing if you're getting juddering there. There are many other things that can cause juddering, especially on DirecTV. It's a satellite.
Yeah, and it only does it on, like, I've noticed on certain channels, and it doesn't do it on anything else.
Yeah,
it's just an issue with certain satellites or something.
Yes, then it's definitely not you.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's only on certain channels, it's definitely not you. It's, there's all sorts of things that could be. I used to have to cut a hole in a tree because my satellite dish in the spring. It was only in the spring, but things would start getting messed up in the spring, and I finally realized, the leaves on the tree. In the winter, it's fine. So my wife wasn't too happy, but I cut a hole in the tree. I made the tree U-shaped. So the satellite could see the sky. You got to see clearly to the sky. That's one of the side effects of having a satellite situation is weird topiary. Richard in Delray Beach, Florida. You're next. Hi, Richard. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Leo, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thanks. Great to have you.
Especially listen to Windows Weekly, Security Now.
Oh, you like the podcast?
All those shows.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I have a Dell Latitude E6410, which is a decent laptop that I bought from Dell, refurbed. It's had no problems. It was running Windows 7 Professional. I wanted to upgrade it to Windows 10. I tried the clean install, but it would just hang on, I don't know, I forget what the message is, preparing computer or something like that for 24, 48 hours. And
that's not right. It shouldn't take more than an hour or two for the upgrade.
Right. Turns out that the Windows 10 upgrade is not supported by Dell on that particular model. Okay, that's fine. Right.
Okay.
So I did a reinstall of the Windows 7 Ultimate, actually, that I had on it before.
Yeah.
And did a trial run with Windows 7 and the minimum number of drivers and got it to upgrade to 10. Not a problem.
Oh, good.
So I thought, okay, so now I'm going to do it for real. And my question here is, because it is right now Windows 7 with all the Dell drivers that I could lay my hands on and Service Pack 1, what other Windows 7 updates do I need to do, if any, before I upgrade to 10? And should I, because I'm going to install...
Well, here's the issue. The reason Dell says it's not supporting Windows 10 is there's some hardware on that Latitude that doesn't have a Windows 10 driver. And
I was getting the go-ahead from Microsoft.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, then you're all right. So what Microsoft, that whole go-ahead thing, Microsoft runs a compatibility check. And it says, no, you got all the drivers you need. So I don't know why Dell's saying we're not supporting Windows 10. Maybe they want you to buy a new computer. I don't know.
I don't know.
But if Microsoft says, oh, no, you're good to go, then you should be good to go.
And I did an install with from 7 to 10 as a trial. I hadn't installed all the drivers, hoping that Windows 10 would pick them up, but it didn't. So that's fine. So I went back, did a complete clean install.
There's nothing you need to do with 7 except make sure it's activated, because you're going to get all new stuff when you go to 10 anyway.
So I don't need to do any. What about installing apps on it? Should I do that before or after the update?
I'd wait. I'd do it after if I were you.
All right.
In other words, you tried the right thing, which is the clean install. My concern really is that your hard drive is having issues. If that clean install...
I've tried it with 2 different hard drives.
Oh, interesting.
They're not... I've run disk on them and Dell Diagnostics on them, and no problems crop up.
It sounded like there was an issue with the hard drive, frankly, when it hangs for 48 hours. But it may be just a bad download. That's the other thing that can happen. If there's
I tried it with the... I think it was Windows Weekly. You had a link to download.
Yep, the ISO. Microsoft has an ISO available.
Well, what they have is a media creation tool.
Yeah, which creates an ISO.
ISO or USB, and I tried them both in the same thing.
Same thing. So, that is interesting.
You can only
so you can't do a clean install, but the next best thing would be a clean Windows 7 install. Don't install anything else. Just make sure it's activated and then go to 10. That's about as close as you're going to get to a clean install if you can't do the clean install. And that's fine. That's fine. Microsoft's got this down. Now, on the other hand, I got to talk when we come back about a little problem I have with Microsoft right after this. I'll tell you why I think there's trouble in Sonos land, because they did a lot of misdirection and hand-waving, and they did it well. So when they announced in the blog post that there's a layoff, and they didn't say how many, but it sounded like it was something significant, they very wisely also said, but we're going to, as part of this, we're going all in on voice recognition. And so that ended up being the headline as much as it would have been just Sonos lays off people. It was Sonos kind of repositions to go into voice. That sounds to me, having many years in this business, seeing people kind of manage and spin, like, pay no attention to the layoffs. Look what we're doing. So my instinct is they're having trouble. And I wouldn't be surprised, because they're in a very competitive marketplace right now. And they did not keep up to date. Their price is too high, and they don't have the capabilities that they ought to have. And what they said in the blog post is, well, it turns out it's all about streaming now. What, you just found that out? And the problem is there's a million devices that do that, including the one that I see as a real threat to them is Chromecast Audio, which is a $35 dongle that you put into any speaker system, and it does multi-room. And multi-room is the one thing that Sonos had that nobody else had. It's why you paid $600 for a speaker not worth half that. Yeah, Telegram is not secure. It's secure-ish. Yeah, no, I don't. I think Sonos is in trouble. I think the competitive market is the market's passed them by, is what's happened. Yes, many of our workers have decided to spend more time with their families. Yeah, you wave your hand. It's smart. I would do the same thing. Oh, but look over here. Look what we're doing. We've never done a layoff. A layoff is different from firing people who suck. A layoff is where you say, "Hey, you guys are great. We love you, but we gotta let you go." The Wire video feature yet? No, not yet. I'm trying to get Wire to work, but I can't get them to send me a text message. I think everybody's signing up for it right now, is what the problem is. Video calls, end-to-end encryption. And they're doing the one thing. They're doing the one thing that everybody says not to do, that Telegram does, which is roll your own encryption. And so Wire's not. They're using standard. It's open source, good, as is Telegram. But they're not rolling their own encryption. They're using OTR, which is the one. That's what Signal uses. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, playing a little surf guitar for your listening pleasure. Thanks once again to our amazing musical director, Nathan Staten, who uses the internet for good, not evil. Back to the phones we go. And what was I talking about? Oh, wait a minute, before we go to Mike. Hang on, Mike in Portland. I wanted to talk a little bit about Microsoft and their intense desire to get you to upgrade to Windows 10. It's really out of hand. It's really out of hand. And the thing that's out of hand is this advertisement that they put on all the Windows 7 and 8 machines saying, hey, Windows 10, Windows 10. Hey. And then you're ready. The upgrade's ready. You want it? And you can't get rid of it. You have to use a third-party tool to get rid of it or mess around in the registry. And then even then, they update the tool to go, hey, no, yeah, really, seriously, you want Windows 10? Huh? And then they moved Windows 10, the upgrade to Windows 10, into the recommended updates portion of Windows Update, which is pretty nefarious because a lot of people will download the update and then be asked, hey, I got it. I already got it. You want it? It's here. You could do it. And I'm even hearing from people, and I haven't been able to confirm this on any of my machines, that some people are automatically getting pushed to Windows 10. Like they wake up one morning and Windows 10 is running. even though they didn't ask for it. If that's the case, I haven't been able to confirm it, but people I trust say, yeah, it happened to me. That's really wrong. Here's the latest, and this comes from Woody Leonard writing in InfoWorld. A security patch for Internet Explorer, KB3139929, went out on Tuesday. And you need it, by the way. Security patches, as you know, you have to do. Leo tells you, got to do those security patches, otherwise you're vulnerable. Buried in the security update, another ad for Windows 10. So this security update, says Microsoft, resolves several reported vulnerabilities in Internet Explorer. The most severe of these vulnerabilities could allow remote code execution if a user views a specifically crafted web page in Internet Explorer. Wow, yeah, I need that fix. Additionally, this security update includes several non-security related fixes for Internet Explorer. Oh, really? What are those? Updated Internet Explorer 11 capabilities to upgrade Windows 8.1 and Windows 7. This update adds functionality that lets users learn about Windows 10 or start an upgrade to Windows 10. You mean it brings an ad? Yes, and now when you open a new tab on Internet Explorer, it pops up a big blue banner that says, Microsoft recommends upgrading to Windows 10. Every time. And you can't not do it because it's not separated out. It's the security patch. I'm sorry, Microsoft. Stop it. Stop it. You're giving away Windows 10. Everybody knows that. People who want Windows 10 will upgrade. Stop pestering people. If they haven't upgraded yet, they probably don't want to. There's a good reason. They like Windows 7 and like Windows 8.1, or maybe they use software that can't use Windows 10. Or maybe their hardware doesn't support Windows 10. Don't pester them. As far as I'm concerned, and Woody says this is beyond the pale. This is beyond the pale. This is not good behavior. This is malware. Might as well say it. Very disappointing. Stop bugging people. If they want Windows 10, they'll get it. Microsoft's all in on Windows 10, I guess. All right, now let's move on to Mike in Portland, Maine. Hello, Mike. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. I do have the solution to what you were just talking about.
What?
Windows 10. It is an outside program. It's called GWX Control Panel.
Yes, I love it.
I've installed it, and it works perfectly well, and I've gotten rid of all that stuff on my Windows 7 computer.
The only reason, by the way, that works is because the guy who writes it, kudos to him, because he gives it away, keeps it up to date, because Microsoft continually adds new things like this. So he has to update the GWX control panel all the time.
Oh, he's done a wonderful job, and I'm really thrilled with it.
I agree with you.
I reversed the registry hack and installed this, and it's just been great ever since I put it in.
It's from it's free. It's from ultimateoutsider.com. He does accept donations, but it's to his credit because he updates it constantly. He has to because Microsoft's constantly changing how they do this.
There's no excuse for it. Absolutely.
It's horrible. Sorry, that's not okay.
But that's not why I called.
Why did you call?
Well, you have been pushing me forever to finally get a smartphone, and I've called you about it before. You may or may not recall. And finally, this old Luddite
Yay!
And cheapskate got an Apple iPhone 6S.
Oh, wow. What do you think?
I enjoy it. I wish it were a little more computer-like and a little less appliance-like. So
yeah, it is an appliance.
7.
Yeah, it is an appliance, yeah.
I'm looking to move files back and forth and do things like that.
No,
you can't do that.
No. You should look at Android. You really should.
I should have, but I got this. It was the right price.
Okay.
I got it with points that I had on that were going to expire.
People who say, I want to do things like look at the file system, iPhone's not for you. I think you described it beautifully, Mike. It's appliance-like. It's an appliance. It's intended to be.
And it works very well as that, and I can't complain. And I'm learning how the Apple mentality, and took a few free classes at the Apple.
Good.
And it's been great.
One of us.
Chosen.
One of us. Welcome to the club. You are now one of us.
Exactly. But I have some questions for you if you have time.
Sure.
I'm a new smartphone user completely. I've learned a few things, picked up a few apps, but what apps would you consider are essential to have, and why? And preferably free, although I'm willing to pay, a few dollars here and there for them. I've purchased a couple already. One that keeps me in touch with you, one called Pocket Casts, which is...
Pocket Cast is well worth it. If you listen to podcasts, it's a few bucks, but it is a great program. One of the nice things about it is it works on Android and iOS, and your Pocket Cast account allows you to synchronize on all the phones. So if you subscribe now on iOS and you get a new phone in a year or two, and you just log into your Pocket Cast account, all of your podcasts will be there, all your subscriptions.
And it syncs on my desktop through my web browser.
Very good choice.
So it's great. But what would you suggest that someone get who's new to phones?
It's interesting because most people, I would guess most people who get smartphones don't add many apps. We geeks tend to install a lot of apps, on average 100 apps. I have well over 200 apps on all my phones because I don't know why, because they're free, most of them, and I just like them, and I think I might use them someday. So the apps that you have are really a great place to start. I wouldn't get crazy about installing apps. The Apple provides you with excellent calendar and contacts. The Photos app is very good. Apple Maps is good, although probably the first thing I do when I get a new iPhone is I go to the Google section. In fact, what I would do is go to the Google section and the Microsoft section and download apps there. And I'll have one more choice for you when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Now, let me tell you something. When it comes to Epson, what you get is 2 years of ink in the box. And, man, it is good. I saw it, and it was good. The Epson EcoTank printers. Oh, I love these. I'm so mad because I have a Workforce Pro, which I like. That was our house printer. And Lisa said, no, I want the EcoTank. She went out and bought the Epson 4550. She loves it. I'm jealous. She's got a better printer than I do. Epson, but it is on the house network, so I can print to it too. Epson.com/EcoTank. She did do me a favor, though. She let me set it up. So and it's really cool that it comes with, this tank on the side. And it comes with the ink bottles, 4 ink bottles, black, cyan, magenta, and yellow. And you load it up, throw away the bottles, and now it's 2 years of ink in that reservoir. It's about 50 ink cartridges worth. And then when it's time to buy new ink, you go out and you buy the bottles and you save 80%. The bottles are very low cost. And, of course, it's a great printer. This is the all-in-one, wireless, does scanning, does copying. I can't remember if this one does faxes. I don't know. We never use the fax feature. They have ones that do faxes. It's based on the Precision Core technology, which is the best. It means you get great black and white printing, high speed. They're about 3 seconds a page, something like that. It goes, and it's done. And 2-sided printing and a 30-page auto document feeder. And, of course, it prints from phones and tablets wirelessly, too. Love these printers. And, no wonder the ET4550 was named the CES 2016 Innovation Award honoree. Because it's just awesome. Doesn't use ink cartridges. It features an innovative refillable ink tank. Now you have the freedom to print without running out of ink. And they have big ones, too, for the work group, for the office. Epson, epson.com/EcoTank. For the best combination of ease and value, the new Epson EcoTank printers. I love them. I love them. I can't hide my love. epson.com/EcoTank. We thank them for their support of the Tech Guy podcast and remind you that Epson allows you to exceed your vision. Epson! Scan to the cloud. I do that all the time. I love these. Do we have Anthony? We do. Anthony, hey, Tort.
Good morning, Leo.
Hey, so I didn't realize you lost video last time. You're not watching the stream, are you?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, just use what Skype sends you back.
That's all I'm using.
Good. Yeah. What do you want to talk about today?
I think we can talk composition, maybe touch on some photo go-to apps for the iPhone.
Oh, you know what? That would be good given Mike's call. Like, okay, what, I have a great camera app. What, is there other apps I might be interested in? That'd be good. That'd be good.
I mean, we can go over that.
I don't mind composition, but let's start with that, given that it kind of ties in.
Okay, start with the photo apps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that way I can kind of tie it in. I have a couple more apps I'm gonna recommend to him, and then we'll go to you. That'd be perfect.
Okay. All right. Cool.
How are things in beautiful Oahu?
Good. Really nice. I mean, another gorgeous day out. So
another beautiful day in paradise.
You can hear a lot of country sounds.
Yeah, that's nice. Chickens. And Mike says, "Love the purple hat." Yep.
Thank you.
Love the purple hat.
Yeah. Aloha, everyone.
This is fun. Chris is gonna have to fight to get his job back.
No, he's good.
I'm gonna say, Chris, I replaced you, Chris. No.
Where did he go anyway?
He went to get lucky guy. He got a last minute invite to go to Tuscany.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, I know. What a horrible life. Spring in Tuscany.
Poor guy.
Oh, yes. And he's I'm sure, having a great time. But, it's nice to have somebody who can fill in for him because he misses a lot of, bring him up a little. All right. Yeah, he's low. He misses a lot of shows, so I'd say probably misses 10, 15 weeks a year. So
yeah,
it's nice to have a temporary fill-in guy, permanent temporary fill-in guy.
There you go. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. And you sound great.
Good.
Yep. And the picture's
Audio's good.
Yep.
I bought a pop filter.
I see a giant pop filter. It looks like a plate.
We don't have many options on island. Drove a half hour to
an aggressive pop filter. You will not be popping today. I have, as you can see, a double pop filter on me. I pop so much.
Yours is fancy.
It's not fancy. It's just it's just two of them, and I still pop. And this microphone supposedly has a built-in pop filter.
Now, is that a condenser mic?
No, it's dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of large coil dynamic. What do you? It looks like you're using a Yeti or something.
Yeah, it wasn't really serious, but
no, Yeti's fine. No, those are very good, and they're inexpensive, and you don't need a special USB adapter or anything.
Seems to work relatively well.
Here, it works great. You sound good. Here we go. Hold on. Good. Time to talk digital photography. I want to wrap up a little bit with Mike, and then we're going to talk to Anthony Tortoriello, our fill-in digital photographer. Chris Marquardt has the week off. He's in Tuscany, lucky guy. But Mike asked a great question. Got a new iPhone, his first smartphone. What app should I get? And I always say, if it's the first time you're using a new thing like that, get used to the apps you've got before you go crazy. But many iPhone users love the Google apps, and in particular Google's Photos, which unfortunately has the same name as Apple's Photos, but is a wonderful app to have because it backs up your photos. Google Maps is certainly a good adjunct to have to Apple's own mapping app. It used to be Apple's maps were kind of second rate compared to Google's, but they're not anymore. So you have a great mapping app, but Google Maps is good too. I wouldn't worry about Google Chrome. I would stick with the Safari browser. You can't change the default browser on iPhone, so might as well use the one that comes with Apple. But you might want to download an ad blocker. I use Crystal, but there are several ad blockers. This is something Apple added to the iPhone just in the most recent version of iOS. The ability to use ad blockers. You won't see the switch to turn them on, though, until you download one. So download an ad blocker. Crystal is a good one. And then you go in the Safari settings and you can turn on the ad blocking. But you know what? I think this would be a good time to get Anthony on the line, Anthony Tortoriello. He is a photographer based in Oahu, one of the most beautiful places in the world. Yeah, we see him in the chat room all the time. Hey, Tort, how are you?
Good. Doing well, Leo.
Aloha.
Good morning to you, and aloha to everyone.
Very kind of you to fill in for Chris Marquardt while he's traveling Italy.
Kind of you as well.
And I thought it'd be fun to get you to kind of answer Mike's question in part by talking about iPhone photography. I mean, iPhone photography is, I don't have to tell you, is amazing. You, in fact, were featured in the Shot with iPhone 6 campaign, a beautiful billboard with your undersea picture of a sea turtle, a honu.
Yep.
Are there other apps that you use? What do you use on your iPhone besides the camera app that comes with it?
A couple things. Camera Plus actually works really well for a built-in macro ability. So there's actually a little feature. You can hit a button when you go into the camera settings on Camera Plus app. And I know you know Lisa.
Oh, yeah, Lisa Benny, the creator, is just awesome.
So if you hit the little macro mode, that's actually a little trick. So if you don't have an actual Olo clip or some kind of external lens on it.
What does it let you do?
Just allows you to get a macro shot that actually is really nice.
Go close up.
And actually for zooming too, it does better in the Camera Plus app, zooming in on subjects, than it does on the iPhone app.
Yeah, that's one thing a camera phone generally doesn't do well. They don't have physical zooms like you would on your camera.
No, it's a digital zoom.
It does it in software, and so often as you zoom in, the image gets lower quality. It gets pixelated.
It just seems as if the Camera Plus does a better job at handling that.
Nice. Okay.
So
Camera Plus, was $1. I don't know how much it is now. Maybe a couple of bucks, but well
maybe
worth it.
$1.99.
Yeah, well worth it. What do you
Turning
use?
on the rule of thirds grid is also a nice little tip. If you go in the settings and then go into photo and camera, you can turn on the grid so you can keep your horizons level, and actually helps out a lot. I don't know why they don't carry that through the video and time-lapse side of it. But
how about photo editing apps? Do you use any of those, or do you edit always on the
Snapseed is probably a go-to editing app.
That's free, which is nice. That's like one of the Google apps,
Yeah, it's a really pretty powerful app, actually. I mean, it can do, sharpening. You can do a little selective. You could actually, like, pinpoint an area where you want to lighten the area or add a little contrast, so it's kind of powerful in that regards. There's also an app I use as a photographer for watermarking called Over that I think works really well.
Oh, yeah. You can use that to make captions, too, and things.
Yeah. So to kind of, there's also, I use Snapseed to edit. I use, if you need a retouch, there's actually an app called Retouch. I think in the App Store it's called Touch Retouch. And it's super powerful, so you could actually clone things out. Say you have a little, dust or something that is popping up.
Are you in the middle of the jungle?
I know, it sounds like it, right? Yeah, I told you we're Hawaii country.
It sounds like a Tarzan movie. I love it. No, and I'm not complaining. I feel great.
I couldn't pay for that.
I would put you this recording on in the background as I go to sleep. It's very peaceful.
Yeah, that's pretty. Sometimes, yeah.
One of the things I do tell people to do, now this is kind of an advanced tip for people who are, not new to the iPhone but want to really kind of get into some of the capabilities, is go and look at the Adobe apps. Because Adobe has increasingly put out better and better apps for iOS. They, of course, have Lightroom, which is, and they're all free, by the way, because they presume you're going to end up buying Adobe's Creative Cloud and have a subscription to that. But Lightroom, Adobe Mix, which allows you to retouch or even mix two images together, take somebody's head, put it on somebody else's body. They've done, I think, a fabulous job.
Yeah, I enjoy Lightroom on the iPad especially.
Yes, absolutely.
You have a little bit more working room.
Yeah. We were talking to Russell Brown of Adobe, who's one of their great evangelists, and he said the iPad Pro with a pencil and Lightroom is his new go-to way to work. I mean, here's a guy who's a Photoshop wizard, and that's his favorite way to work.
Kind of leave the MacBook Pro and Photoshop at home.
Yeah.
Just trip with that.
Yeah. I'm thinking of, you don't want to put too many camera apps on there. There are a lot of them, like Hipstamatic, that have lots of filters.
No, there's not. I mean, the iOS camera app is really powerful. I mean, it's a potent app. I mean, if you can't fill the void of getting creative with just that app, I mean, you have time-lapse ability, you have slow motion video, you have, 120 frame per second, 240 frame per second slow motion. I mean, it's really pretty amazing with what you can do with that. Something creative, the possibilities are endless.
I also, and I know you do, I use Instagram, which is not really a photo app, but a photo sharing app. It's just a great social community and a great way to show your photography. And one of the reasons I like it as a social community is, even though there are comments, it's really just about the visuals. And you can just see so many wonderful pictures if you follow people like Anthony. What's your Instagram handle?
It's Honu Whisper. Honu is, again, Hawaiian for turtle.
H-O-N-U.
H-O-N-U Whisper. Yeah, it was just kind of meant to be a turtle kind of fun account for conservation and awareness and how to act around them, because a lot of people come here and really have no idea. They want to touch them and sit on them and ride them. Oh. Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. But one of the wonderful things you can do when you go to Hawaii is get somebody who's local and go out in an outrigger with them and go see some of the Honu nesting areas. We did that when we were in Maui last year. And he told us so many wonderful stories about the culture and about the traditions and about how Honu are, how important they are to Hawaiian life. And it was really, it made me really appreciate it. And then bring your camera.
Yeah, bringing your camera helps.
Because
camera helps.
There's great pictures. Follow Anthony on Instagram, Honu Whisperer, or go to his website. I imagine you have everything there. Atort, A-T-O-R-T, photography.com. Yep. Anthony Totoriello. And can you come back one more time next week before Chris comes back from his trip?
My pleasure.
We'll talk some more about photography. I know you want to talk a little bit about composition. Well, let's do that next week, okay?
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Putting together a great picture using those apps that you've downloaded now. And I have to say,
right on.
with the smartphone cameras these days, you almost don't need to take a regular camera with you. I just got the S7. Just the cameras are so good now.
I don't know if you've seen these, Leo, but they're called moment lenses.
They're like magnetic, right? They attach on the phone.
No, these are pretty legit. They're almost,
Oh, they go on a
solid.
Yeah, okay.
But you may want to check them out. I mean, it kind of steps up your game with the iPhone photography.
I'll have to download it.
Their quality. They actually have a built-in app. It recognizes the lenses when it's attached.
Nice.
Pretty clever.
Anthony Totoriello. Thank you, Anthony. Nice.
Yeah, aloha, guys. Thank you.
Nice Italian boy in Hawaii. We'll talk again next week.
We'll
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Actually, if you think about it, Italian and Hawaiian, very similar. Aloha, mahalo.
This is huge, a new age.
Hey, thank you, Anthony. Great job, as always. All right, talk again next week.
Okay, thank you, Leo.
Sure.
Aloha.
See ya. Aloha. Yeah, I just love once you see Hawaii as more than just a tourist destination, but really the Polynesian culture. I just fell in love with the Polynesian culture. Just amazing. Love this song. Don't you love Dolly? Something about her. You just can't.
She's an icon.
Yep. She's just a sweetheart. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, on the job from 11 to 2. Doesn't really have the same banker's hours for me. 8888 ask Leo. That's the phone number. Working. You see, that wouldn't be a good song. Working 9 to 11. What a way to make a living. Let's see who's next. Not Chumley. Ed in Crossville, Tennessee. Got to do you an order. Hi, Ed. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Well, good afternoon, Leo and everyone. Thanks, Kim. Excellent phone ranger.
Isn't she great? Yeah.
Oh, she is great.
Yep.
So no problems. I've got a question about printers, and this includes all of them. But first, I would like to make a comment on Adobe Photoshop.
Yes, please do.
I'm blind. I can't see a darn thing, but it wasn't always that way. And I used Photoshop back when Burt Monroy was on the screensaver.
Oh, those are the good old days. Yeah.
I learned a little bit back then, and I went to use that the other day, and I couldn't use it because it's not voiceover compatible.
Yeah.
So I was hoping they would fix that. I just wanted to mention that.
I agree, although I perhaps understand how they might say, well, why would somebody who's blind want to use Photoshop?
Well, that's a great segue there.
I set you up, did I?
Talking about the printers. Every modern printer now has a little screen on it, and it's menu-driven. I'm wondering why, or if, and I just don't know about, a talking module has built-in speech for printers, copiers, photos, and scanners and fax.
We had somebody call a couple of weeks ago, ask about in particular about the Epson printers. They have the same thing. They have the LCD panel on the front. Of course, that's not accessible. But I got a number of people emailed me, and I think somebody put it in the comments too on the website, and I encourage you to do that, techguylabs.com. Said, you know what's great about the Epson printers anyway is you can use a web browser, surf to the printer, and all the settings will show up on your computer screen where you can use JAWS or some other screen reader to read them, access them, and modify them.
Oh, okay. Now I'm going to have to tell the VA about that.
Isn't that a great idea?
Yes, it is. It's an awesome idea, but it would be even better if they would let it standalone.
I understand, but that's a considerable cost to add that to a printer. You'd have to have a speaker, which they don't normally have. You'd have to modify the firmware, and those are not very powerful computers if you think about it.
Like an Arduino?
Yeah, they're dumb. They're dumb little things. So I think Epson's got a great solution. I don't know if others do it. I bet they do, where you just surf to the printer with your browser, and there's the printer interface completely available to you. And it has benefits to everybody. It means I don't have to reach under my desk and look at that little panel. I can do it all from my computer.
That is a good thing. Kind of like I control my ham radio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
AK4ED. Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, AK4ED, W6TWT. Over and out.
Exactly.
All right. 7-3, Ed. Great to talk to you. Thanks for calling. Christy, Long Beach, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Christy.
First I want to thank you for the carbonite plugs. I put it on my Mac, and I love not having to worry about it, and I feel really bad for Omar. So.
I'm very sympathetic, but there's no fix if you get that ransomware on there and you don't have a good backup.
Exactly.
You're done.
So I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, isn't that nice? It's a nice feeling. You should still be careful. Right? Don't just go, I click any link I want now.
Well, that's why I got a Mac. Maybe I shouldn't.
No, you're fine. Although, you know what? Shocking. The first ransomware on Macintosh emerged last week.
No.
Yes. Now, fortunately, it was very limited, very constrained, and this actually showed some of the strength of the Mac security platform. It was a program called Transmission that's used. It's a BitTorrent client. And you download it not from the Mac App Store, but you download it from the Transmission website. A bad guy hacked the website, and for a couple of days, if you downloaded Transmission, the installer didn't just install Transmission, it installed a malware program that would encrypt your data. But here's the really good news. First of all, Transmission fixed it. So only about 6,500 people downloaded it. Those 6,500 people... The malware guys, which is a company in Turkey apparently, or maybe they co-opted a company in Turkey, had an Apple certificate, if you believe that. Apple sets it up, and you should turn this on your Mac. It's something called Gatekeeper, but you'll see it in the security settings that you can. There's 3 settings. Only install stuff from the App Store. That's the safest. The one I use is the default, which is only install stuff from the App Store or a developer who has Apple certificate, approved certificate. And the third setting is go ahead, do whatever you want. Be it on your head. So the middle one is good. But if a company then goes and gets a certificate, Apple doesn't check, apparently, I'm surprised, doesn't check the company to make sure they're legit or whatever. But the good news is Apple was able to yank the certificate. So anybody who hadn't yet installed it would have gotten, and I know at least one person who didn't get the malware because Apple yanked the certificate. They tried to install it, and it said, nope, not going to install it. The certificate's invalid. And then they did a third thing, which Apple does without your knowledge, kind of behind the scenes. They have malware detectors on your Mac, and they update those signatures, and they updated the signature almost immediately. So the damage was very constrained. I don't know of I have yet to hear from anybody who got bit by that malware, but it exists, so be careful.
Okay, good to know. Well, I am calling because I've been shopping for a home printer.
Good.
Yeah, and I like my brother, but it's time to get a color, either a small-in-one or an all-in-one that operates wirelessly without a router.
Yeah.
So I was looking into Epson.
Wait a minute, without a router? But you have Wi-Fi.
It had a separate, forgive me, I'm not.
So, I can solve it. I'm sure you have. So when you get in your house with your laptop or whatever, you're on Wi-Fi, right? You're not connected physically.
Correct.
Yeah, that means you have Wi-Fi. So any wireless printer will work. They use Wi-Fi as well. They don't get plugged in to the router.
Oh.
If it says wireless, that means Wi-Fi is good. And since you're able to use Wi-Fi on your computer or your phone, you will be able to use it on the printer as well.
This one says wireless networking, and it's about 8 years old.
Yeah, well, if it does wireless, it should have a way in the settings to choose your Wi-Fi access point. It has a name, right?
I don't know.
It's not Linksys, is it? So when you're on your Mac, you have that little the wireless icon on the Mac is a triangle with lines on it. It kind of looks like radar, maybe. And if you click it, you'll see the name of the network you're on.
Oh, yes. I don't know what name it is.
You'll need to know to set up the printer is the name of the network and the password if there is one on it.
I think that's where I get stuck.
Did somebody else set that up, or did you set it up?
They set it up.
Where did they go?
Well, they passed away.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you don't know your password, but you knew it at one point because you got your but if you get a new computer, you'll need to get the password. And you get a new printer, you're going to have the same problem.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to work around that one.
Well, I'll tell you how you can do that. You can reset the Wi-Fi. So somewhere in the closet or somewhere, there's a wireless router.
Mm-hmm.
Has antennas on it usually.
Okay.
It's connected to your cable modem or your DSL modem. Or it may be your cable modem or DSL modem. But it'll have antennas on it, and that needs to be reset.
Okay.
Actually, somebody's saying that the password is stored on the Mac. I guess you could look in your Mac's keychain. That's a good idea. And find it.
Didn't ever the Mac is pretty new, and I've only just used the USB.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have it in there. But I do need to get a color one, and this is a monochrome.
So you will, this is another bridge you'll have to cross when you get the new printer, is you'll have to figure out what the Wi-Fi password is, or or reset it and create a new one. There are many companies that make excellent wireless printers. You know, our sponsor Epson is very good, and I'm a big fan. Mm-hmm. If you don't need the all-in-one, the scanning and the fax, you don't have to have faxing, but you don't want the scanning as well as the printing, then you can get the Epson Artisan, which is just a simple color printer. Very nice. Canon also makes excellent wireless color printers, the Pixma. Those would be my two favorites. I wouldn't go much too farther beyond that. Brother does make good. Is yours a laser printer?
Yes.
You can get color lasers if you want.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Hang on, we got to take a break. Hang on, we'll talk about kind of the difference in inkjet and lasers and why you might want one over the other when we come back. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. The Tech Guy Show brought to you this week by Prosper. Love Prosper, a peer-to-peer lending marketplace. It connects people who have money to lend with people like you and me who need to borrow money. Now, of course, if you want to borrow money, of course, you can go and run up your credit card debt, but that's not a good idea. Have you looked at the interest rate on your credit card lately? You could borrow some money from a relative if you never want to hear the end of it. You could go to the bank, but this is a better and easier way. Go to prosper.com/techguy. You can, right now, without affecting your good credit, check and see what you're eligible for. What's the rate? It's always fixed. It's always a low rate. And how much can you borrow? As much as $35,000. You'll get it in as few as 5 days, and you can borrow money for just about anything you want. First thing you should do, pay off those high-rate credit cards if you got a big credit card balance. You can also fix up your house. You could plan a vacation, anything you want. Just go to prosper.com. It's a better way to get the cash you need at a low interest rate. Peer-to-peer lending. This is what the internet was made for. Forget the big bank loan. Go to prosper.com. Look at this. They've loaned $5 billion out now to over 250,000 people. It's also a great place for investors. I know a lot of people who are lenders on prosper.com. It's a great investment. Prosper, prosper.com/techguy. Check it out today. Find out how much you can get and how low your rate will be. Up to $35,000 in your account in as few as 5 days at prosper.com/techguy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that stuff. 8888. Ask Leo, 888-827-5536. We were talking to Christy in Long Beach. She wants a new printer. And we've talked a little bit about different wireless printers, but she currently has a laser printer. Do you want to stick with laser? Do you know what the differences are between laser and inkjet?
I've been looking at those on LEDs and not sure. I'm just trying to find the economical option.
Yeah. So lasers are more economical over time, generally, because people, the cost of what we call consumables are lower. That is ink and paper. So a laser printer is a great choice for offices where you print a lot. It used to be that laser printing was crisper for black and white text. I guess it is a little bit crisper than inkjet, although now with modern inkjets, they have so many drops of ink and such high resolution that difference has kind of gone away. Lasers have to warm up, though, because of the way they work more like copy machines. They put toner on a sheet of paper, and then they heat it. And so they have to warm up. The heating elements have to warm up. So they're slower to get started. Often they're faster once they get started. Again, though, inkjet has really caught up. Inkjet does generally better color. Color lasers tend to be kind of washed out. They're good for business graphics. You would never use them to make photos. Whereas if you want to do photo printing at any time, I would get an inkjet printer, and preferably one that was designed for use in printing photos. Do you want to do photos as well as just plain paper printing?
To be honest, if I was going to do photos, I'd probably still do it through.
Yeah, you go to Costco or somewhere. Yeah, or Shutterfly. Yeah. So it is kind of fun to print your own photos, but it's costly. The paper's expensive, the ink's expensive, and so I think you're probably right. You're better off getting a company that does that, like Shutterfly, to do it. So we don't care about that. That's good. Let me think. I guess, nowadays you can get a laser printer pretty much same cost as an inkjet printer, very close to it, in the $100 range. Brother, in fact, makes excellent ones.
Yes, and I was looking, but I do think I'm going to steer toward the inkjet because the inkjet ones with the scanning and the copying are less expensive.
Well, then I have to give a plug to our sponsor. You've kind of narrowed it down. You want to do scanning and copying as well as printing. You want an all-in-one, and I think there's nobody better than our sponsor, Epson. And that's not because they give me money. It's because I've used them for years, and I'm absolutely a fan. And as I said, the work, you can get. They have a huge range of printers, and I like these new EcoTank printers. They're more expensive up front. And sometimes I think people look at the price and they go, well, why is that so much more expensive than this $20 printer over here? Well, because it comes with the ink and you don't have to buy cartridges. A lot of companies, including Epson, the business model was for a long time like razor blades. You give away the printer, you make it very inexpensive, and you make it up in the cost of the ink. That's why consumable costs were so high on inkjet. But they've realized now, thank goodness, at least Epson has, that's people are wise to that. They were nervous. They told me when they first started selling the EcoTank printers, they were nervous because the sticker price was so much higher that people wouldn't understand. Well, but you're not going to buy ink for 2 years. That's 50 cartridges worth of ink in there. And they said, well, you know what? People turned out to be smarter than we thought. We couldn't keep them in stock. People were able to make understand the distinction. But I think they still feel like it's an uphill battle. So I love those. That's what we have at home. What it's not great for is really occasional printing. Because, as with a lot of inkjets, the nozzles get clogged if you don't use them every few days. Do you print frequently?
I do print frequently, but not a lot at a time. So if
that's fine. You just want to you want to use it every few days. Print one page. Okay. If the nozzles get clogged, they have a routine. It just uses ink.
Okay, I've been looking at Epson because you recommend them, but I keep getting hung up on what I'm reading about. If you have one cartridge that's empty, you've got a 20-pound paper, right?
Right. That's what's nice about the EcoTanks is there's no cartridges.
Okay. So
if you run out of blue, you buy a bottle of blue. They don't have that. All the companies, went through that phase where they were doing all sorts of weird stuff with. You couldn't, for instance, use a third-party cartridge. They put chips in them. They were doing all sorts of weird stuff. I think that the idea of just getting a tank really solves the whole problem.
Okay.
It's fun. I have this funny feeling when I would. If they weren't a sponsor, I'd be unreservedly saying, "Go out and get it," and then I have to be a little careful because they're a sponsor. I don't want you to feel like my opinion has been purchased here. So, but I think they're really, really good.
Well, sounds good. Is there a particular model for what I'm looking?
Do it by price. You can get simpler features. The one we got at home is a 4550. Very nice. Not expensive when you consider that you don't have to buy ink for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. Great. Enjoy. Call me back and let me know how you like it.
Okay.
Thanks, Christy. Boris, Corona, California is next. Hi, Boris.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
All right. A long-time listener.
Thank you.
And I have a question. I started driving for Lyft about since January 1st.
How's that been for you? Is that a good job?
Oh, man. I mean, you hear a lot about Uber, but actually I love Lyft. A lot of my customers said they prefer Lyft. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, a lot of people prefer Lyft. Now, you don't have to have the giant pink mustache on your car anymore, do you?
And I think they discontinued that.
That was what stopped me. But it worked. You know what? It was a good idea because then you know when your Lyft arrives that it's there because it's a car with a pink mustache in front of you.
Well, actually, they do provide a small one you put on your dashboard.
Oh, that's good
enough.
enough.
When you arrive, you turn it on, and it kind of glows in the dark.
Oh, that's even better. I like that.
Exactly.
That's a good way.
Well, I noticed a lot of customers say, I was looking for license plate, then I saw your pink mustache, and I knew it was you. I was like, yes, that works.
Just for you, I'm going to start using Lyft more. I like Lyft. Good.
Thank you, Leo.
Just for you. Where do you drive?
I drive anywhere in Orange County, Inland Empire. Sometimes I go down to L.A. Just did the first LAX ride a couple days ago.
Oh, good. I'll look.
I do that part-time. I'm a truck driver, so I like driving. I do driving anyway. I pass by you almost every week. They're going to Santa Rosa, Rono Park.
Oh, wow. Come by and say hi next time.
I would like to do that.
You're in the area. You always should stop by. Our studio is always open. So what can I do for you?
Well, you hear in the news things happen with Uber drivers. They get unruly riders and stuff like that. And
it's always risky. You know, when you're letting people in your car, there's always some risk involved, isn't there?
Yeah, it's much safer than taxi drivers, but still, I had some of my riders, they say, how come you don't have a dash cam? I go like, well, I don't know, which ones should I do? And they said, oh, yeah, you should have because, it's fun. I have some people.
So they don't
like to play music, dance. They say, you should record this, put on Instagram like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So they don't require that you have a dash cam. They probably recommend it, right?
Probably, like I said, for my personal protection, in case if something happens, like so far I didn't have any bad
do you want one that's pointing at you in the back seat, not pointing out at the front?
Well, ideally would be one that can do both, but I don't think there is such thing.
Yeah, I think you need to get two. There are many dash cams out there, a variety of prices. If you go on Amazon, you'll see all kinds, and a lot of them are just Chinese clones that different companies buy. They all, if you look at them, they're the same. I would go with Garmin. Garmin has, and they may not be the cheapest out there, but Garmin, of course, for years was the great GPS. They've been looking for a new business, and I think they've found the dash cam business. And Garmin makes some excellent dash cams in the $100 to $200 range. Garmin. They have a lot of nice features. I would recommend them. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So here's an example. One of the nice things about these is they have GPS built in, which is, of course, what Garmin does. So they know where you are, where it was recorded. These are designed for, accidents facing out. But there's no reason why you couldn't do it facing back. Good low light, although that's one of the things that would be an issue with facing back, is it's dark in that back seat. You might want to put some lights in there. It's a continuous loop. You put in an SD card. It records in high def, does well in low light, and the loop will be as long as it needs to be, depending on the size of the car. The card. This also does some other helpful safety things. So I wonder if Garmin, so that's the 35. I think they have other models. Let me see here. Automotive cameras. I bet you they have some to look in the back. Yeah, there's an in-vehicle baby monitor. 30's a little less expensive. They have backup cameras too. Yeah. I bet the baby monitor is kind of what you want, right? Oh, I get what this does. That's cool. This puts it on your nav. So you're looking at the nav and you're seeing your baby. Yay! How funny is that? Lukash, Lukashd. Somebody in the chat room. Chip CDM is saying lukashd.com. See, I haven't tested a lot of these. Well, there you go. I must have an English language version here. Where's the English version? I needed the English version. Well, there you go. Korean premium black box. Wi-Fi. English. The amazing innovation of Lucas. Dash cameras are getting smarter. Oh, that's interesting. Wi-Fi download. Yeah, these look good. And how much are these? Yeah, let's put this in the show notes. This looks good. Thank you. Wirecutter has some reviews. Let's look at the Wirecutter reviews. TheWirecutter.com, Wirecutter.com. They say the zero edge technology edge. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. Well, we got a lot of dash cam recommendations from the chat room. Thank you. Somebody in the chat room said Lucas, which is a Korean company, LUKASHD.com. They have an English page too. When you get there, you'll see it's in Korean, but click the English link. Make some very interesting smart dash cams, Lucas. And then somebody pointed me to the Wirecutter. Once again, I got to mention that great site. The Wirecutter was created by Brian Lamb, who was at Gizmodo. He left Gizmodo, created Wirecutter as, he said, you know what people really need is they just need a recommendation. Like, what's the best X? What's the best dash cam? And so that's what the Wirecutter does so well. Now, though, they actually have to say they test a lot of stuff. They say the best dash cam, and it's certainly one I would look at, is the Zero Edge Technology Z3, the Z-Edge Z3. If you go to the Wirecutter site, actually, we'll put a link on the show notes to all of this stuff at techguylabs.com. The runner-up was the Vantrue On Dash and Extreme Climates for really cold, the Spy Tech. But there are a number of different brands that they recommend. But there's a couple, in addition to the Garmin. It's hard. You know, I don't test... I don't have the capability or desire to test 20 different dash cams. So I have to kind of rely on the chat room and other sites for their suggestions. Java Man in the chat room says he really likes the Z-Edge. It has great video. That's important. What you're really looking for is good low-light video because the back seat of your car is not as bright as the outside. So you want something you could do well in the low light, or maybe put a light back there. I would absolutely have a dash cam, and I would have, if I were doing this, driving for Lyft or Uber or professionally, I'd have one facing out and one facing back. And check with your insurance company. A lot of times, if you have a dash cam facing out, you get a better deal on insurance. Ronnie in West Hollywood. Hi, Ronnie. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello, Leo. Hey, I loved your recipe for the salad.
That was off the air, but
that was fantastic. But what kind of mustard?
Well, I use a nice grainy Dijon mustard for my balsamic dressing, and there's just a variety of them out there. My favorite is a French one. It's hard to get, called Moutarde de Meaux. MEAUX.
Okay.
They come in beautiful stoneware jars, and it's mustard so good you could just eat it out of the jar by the spoonful. It's that good.
Well, we have some good stores down here. You could imagine.
Mustard is good.
That won't be any trouble.
When I got married, though, my wife, the first thing she did, she said, "Why do you have 800 condiments in the refrigerator?" And well, mustard doesn't go bad, and I like mustard. So
great.
What can I say?
I love it. No, I love it. I wrote everything down. I've got it here, and after the show, I'll start whipping it up.
Well, if you go, I found out about it on Pinterest. If you look for mason jar salads on Pinterest, there's lots of examples of it. The idea is you make a salad, once a week you make 6 of them and put them in mason jars, and then you just take it to work, and it's fabulous.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love it. Mason jar salads.
Mason jar salads are on Pinterest. What can I do for you?
Got it. Okay, here's the story. This is like Confuselations. I went to the iStore, the Apple store here at Beverly Center. And I got a couple of years ago, I got an iMac, which is now running 10.7.5 Lion, I guess that is. And I said, look, I've got to update this because I want to run a Premiere Elements, and he said, no, you can't. You can't. You're stuck with that particular software. And I said, I've never heard of such a thing that I'm stuck with the software that came with the computer. I think it was actually upgraded after I bought it to something.
The Apple guy told you this?
Yes, at the Apple store. That's what he told me. I couldn't believe it either. I said,
he's wrong.
Of course he's wrong. And I said, this is total BS. And
was this a genius?
One of the guys on the floor that wears.
He was just some retail guy. See, he's not good enough to be a genius.
Well, I guess he's not. but to give that kind of.
He was saying. Wait a minute. He was saying you cannot upgrade the operating system.
That's what he said.
He's wrong.
Of course, he's wrong. And
in fact, Apple. This is one of the things they do that's so great. They offer free upgrades.
Free upgrades
every year.
I wanted to call and tell you the story because I couldn't believe it, and it happened a couple of weeks ago, but.
Now, here's maybe what he's talking about. If you erase the hard drive on a Macintosh, one of the great things about Macintosh is you can install the operating system over the air. So or if you have problems with it, you could just literally you connect it to you reboot the Mac. Mm-hmm. You hold down I think Command Option R or Command R. And reboot it, and one of the recovery modes is wipe the drive and download the operating system. In that case, you will download the operating system that came with the Mac.
Okay.
But of course, the first thing you do after you do that is you upgrade.
All right.
And as long as you have a version of the operating system that supports the App Store, you can upgrade. So you had Lion, that has the App Store on it, because that's where the upgrades come from, is the App Store.
Right.
So if you went way back to whatever it was, Panther or Leopard, I think Lion might have been the first one with the App Store. But when you go far enough back, there's no App Store, then upgrading is a little bit more of a challenge because you can't just go to the App Store and get the new version.
So
But you can go to the App Store on your Lion machine and download El Capitan.
El Capitan. Okay.
That's the latest one. That's OS.
Most recent, right?
Yep, 10.10.
Yep.
Or is it 10.11? Anyway, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 10.11.
Okay.
And I think absolutely worth doing. Unless the machine is so old it can't. If it came with Lion, it's not so old. But older Macs sometimes cannot upgrade to the latest operating system. Yours can. And if
it's only a couple of years old.
Yeah, if you can, you always should.
The art when I got it.
Yeah, you always should. It's very different from Windows, where there's a lot of caveats about upgrading the operating system. Apple releases new versions of OS X every year on schedule. Mm-hmm. They aren't big changes, but they often include security changes and security fixes that are worth doing. And so in this case, I would absolutely, anybody who's using a Mac, go to the latest operating system. Absolutely.
Well, that was my intention, and I keep trying to.
He's a goofball.
Upgrade the software, and it says, "Sorry, this is it. There is no upgrade."
So your computer says that?
Yes.
Well, can you go to the App Store?
Well, I'll try to do that. I'm sitting in front of my Dell right now.
Yeah. Go to the App Store and search for El Capitan.
Okay.
It's only 2 years old. You can absolutely upgrade it, you bought it. It's not like a company computer or something, is it?
No. I bought it from the same place that where the guy told me I couldn't upgrade the software.
And
Center.
It didn't come with Lion. What did it come with?
Oh,
because I guess if it was really old, you may be at the end of the line on the upgrades you could do. But if you say it's just a few years old,
but I think it came with Lion, Leo.
Oh yeah, then you can absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, a 10-year-old Mac you can upgrade to El Capitan. That's bizarre.
This is it, and it's I barely used it. It's actually I've got a.
I don't know why it's not letting you upgrade, but go to the App Store and search for OS X or El Capitan, and you should be able to download it and install it. I can't understand why there'd be an issue with that. If corporate computer, maybe, because they could turn that off. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Harry's on the line from Akron, Ohio. Hello, Harry. Leo Laporte here.
Hello, Leo. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm a first-time caller. I have a problem here. I was hoping you could help me with it.
All right. Well, I'll see what I can do, and I'm glad you called. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm working on a notebook for a friend of mine. I reinstalled the operating system. It has Windows Vista. I know it's old, but it's for her purposes, it does the job.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. Yeah.
And anyway, I reinstalled the operating system, and now when I go down with the cursor and I point to the network, it says currently the wireless icons. It says currently connected to unidentified, and it has the ID for the wireless, and then it has local access only.
Okay.
So I can't get on the internet with this.
Right. Yeah, and it's giving you an address of a local address, probably a 168 address.
It was 169, I think.
Sorry, 169, yep. That means, that's when you see that address as the address, it means I can't get on the internet, so I'm just going to give you a local address. Does the router work with another computer, or have you...
Yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 computers in the house hooked up, and they all
right.
on the internet.
Good. And this is only when you do wireless. Have you tried connecting it via wire?
I haven't tried that. No.
All right. See if that works. If that works, that means, well, your network stack's okay. It's probably just a setting in there. So do you have a password on your Wi-Fi?
No.
Okay. It might be. Did you get all the drivers when you reinstalled it? Were you able to get all the drivers for the hardware?
Yeah, when I went on a control panel, and control panel, but
look at the device manager and make sure. Yeah, make sure that there's no red X's or exclamation marks next to, especially the ones for the wireless and for networking. You may need to go to, oftentimes when you rebuild a computer, the software, the operating system, you need to go to the manufacturer and get the motherboard drivers. Modern computers, almost always, the networking stuff, the Wi-Fi stuff, the sound card, and other components are all on the motherboard. And sometimes getting the correct motherboard driver will fix this problem. So I would go to the manufacturer's website, either of the motherboard or if it's Dell or HP who made the computer. Toshiba. So go to the Toshiba website and get for that exact model, get the drivers. Did it come with Vista?
Yes.
All right. So make sure that they'll have them. Usually they keep them online for a while. The Vista drivers for that model. Or there may be a disk if she's a pack rat and she saved the packaging that came with the computer. There may be a CD somewhere with those drivers on it. I
have a recovery disc CD.
Is that what you used to build it?
That's what I used to build it.
So that should come with all the drivers. Run Windows Update a bunch of times. Make sure it's completely up to date. And then I would also check. Oh, looks like he dropped off. I would also check to make sure that you've got the latest drivers. That's probably what's going on. That's certainly the first thing I'd look at. Dale in Upland, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Dale.
Hey, Leo. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. What can I do for you?
Well, earlier you talked about the Windows 10 update and whether or not anyone had actually had it uploaded on their computer.
I've heard stories that people have been automatically updated. I haven't been able to confirm this myself. Were you automatically updated?
We were. My wife's laptop, it's an older Toshiba, and it came with Windows 7, and she liked Windows 7. And
yeah.
fine. And she'd been getting, for the last couple of months, all those...
that annoying pop-up. Hey, it's ready for Windows 10. It's ready for Windows 10. Would you like to reserve a copy?
Exactly. It was driving her crazy. So one morning last week, she got up and was going through, her routine on the computer and realized it's downloading Windows 10. And she's like, I didn't ask for that. So, and we already had Windows 10 on a newer laptop that we bought, an Asus laptop, and she didn't really like it. So,
yeah, Microsoft changed the settings for the Windows Update to automatically download Windows 10 on most computers. It's a recommended update. Doesn't mean it will install automatically.
Right. It always asks you usually.
Right.
Usually,
yeah, it has to say, hey, I got it. Would you like it? I can install it right now.
And she has a Norton security on that computer, and it has auto, backup all the time. So you had mentioned that they might have snuck it in under one of the backups.
Yeah, it's an update. But she didn't ever get asked, would you like to upgrade? It just upgraded?
Oh, it just started upgrading.
That's
sometime during the night last week. And I guess the question is there a way to download 7 again?
You don't have to. You don't have to. So here's the good news. Hit the Windows key and type recovery. And one of the recovery options, for 30 days after you upgrade to Windows 10, you can roll it back.
Excellent.
So do that, and it'll put it right back the way it was. And then go out and get that GWX control panel. GWX control panel, and turn off those annoying pop-ups. And darn you, Microsoft, that is not okay. The reason I'm very hesitant to say it happens automatically, because I think sometimes people don't notice that they clicked OK or whatever. I'll take your word for it that it just happened.
My wife's a real detail person, so she's very specific about things.
It's just so wrong.
It is.
It's hard to believe that Microsoft would do that, but it sounds like they are doing that. That is just wrong.
You said you'd heard rumors, and unless there's something that was clicked unknowingly that didn't make it clear.
Yeah, I understand. Well, the good news is you can roll it back, but shocking. That's bad behavior. I like Windows 10, but it's bad behavior. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Linux. Time to go to Linux. Time to go to Linux. Go to ubuntu.com and download Linux. That's just terrible. Just terrible. It's just hard to believe that they would do that. Oh. This crappy free mouse. It's all... Oh. Get for nothing. No, it's fine.
Tiny mouse.
It's a little. It came from Sprint. It's a little freebie mouse.
Did it ever work?
I don't know. It's all tangled up. All whopper jawed. No, I don't. It doesn't. I just use this on my laptop. So I can play Minecraft. It's my Minecraft mouse. You get what you pay for. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. Let's talk high tech. Another hour to go on the Tech Guy Show. I see stories everywhere that Microsoft has been installing Windows 10. That's the first one I've heard, direct. My friend Andrew Azarian says, we have a computer that just runs Skype for his podcast network. That was upgraded overnight. You woke up and it was running Windows 10. Didn't happen to you, did it?
No, you just said there's another hour left, and
is it not?
The clock didn't get changed.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong clock. I'm willing to do another hour.
You just
Poor Kim just wants to go home. No, there's not. There's not. I've been looking at the wrong clock the whole time. Oh, man. Good. Well, that's nice, isn't it? I'm going to sign that petition to get rid of daylight savings time, though. This is a bad idea. And I have to post that. I told you earlier in the show, I was up at 1:59, and I thought, oh, hey, this is exciting. I can, okay, this tells you how boring my life is. I can watch the clock change. So I had my smartphone, and I did a screenshot at 1:59. And then, yes, it does. It jumps to 3 a.m. It does. It works. We are in a, I mean, I have to say this, the clock change is a lot easier than it used to be. All the clocks, except for apparently the one I'm looking at, automatically update. Let's see. So this is it. This is the last segment of the show. Well, I better hustle here. Brad in Lake Forest, California. Hi, Brad.
Hi, Leo. How you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. Long-time listener, and I'm always trying to figure out why I get hungry listening to your show.
It's lunchtime.
Exactly, and I love mustard as well, especially on a good Reuben sandwich.
Oh yeah, now you're talking. Do you do pastrami or corned beef, Reuben?
Oh, I'll go either way, but if I get a really lean pastrami, that's the preference.
Oh, me too. Me too. That's the best.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the secure phone business.
Okay.
And I happen to have partnered up with a guy, and a couple of years back we went and talked to the NSA, head of mobility division.
No kidding.
Yeah, and had the opportunity to participate in some collaboration on their fishbowl project, which I don't know if you're familiar with. But
tell me about it.
Well, it's using Sweet B encryption algorithms, producing commercial off-the-shelf product as opposed to government off-the-shelf product. NSA had produced a very complex phone, which nobody liked, nobody used, and it was very expensive.
I remember the phone that they gave the president 8 years ago when he entered office was a Windows phone, not the modern Windows phone, it was old Windows CE.
Right.
Horrible. I mean, I felt bad for the guy. He said, I have to give him my BlackBerry for this?
Exactly. Well, Fishbowl was centered around the Android line, not Apple. Apple, they have some issues with closed systems and things like that, but they've been changing. But we were encouraged by this individual to create a commercial version to protect the intellectual property for corporations.
Great.
And, because there's a huge theft of information. And as you know...
This is exactly the point, though, and I wish we could get this. It's so interesting because government... So you got the NSA on the one hand saying, no, strong encryption is good for America. And the FBI, on the other hand, saying, no, strong encryption is bad for law enforcement. And, you cannot break encryption without hurting everybody.
Exactly. So you kind of want to use what the NSA is using because they have studied it, worked with it.
Yeah, they're very good.
Implemented it.
They're good at their work.
and they're very good at what they're doing.
Do you sell this phone, or is this a commercial product?
No, it's an app that you can get for Apple as well as Android platform. It's called Scramble.com.
Scramble.
And the E is a 3.
Oh, it's in elite speak.
Yeah, so I cheap shameless plug there, but
no, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah,
it is a double encryption tunnel of Sweet B of the highest grade. It's rated at top secret and below.
Isn't this ironic that while the FBI is desperately trying to get Apple to break its encryption, meanwhile the NSA has an encryption suite, Sweet B, which is strong encryption, and you can sell this.
Yes, absolutely.
Jeez Louise.
Well, it's the Type 1 encryption, which is, the secret of the secret is expensive.
Is there any backdoor, though, in this for the NSA? That would be my one worry. I mean,
there's no backdoor in the system. We have built it without, we're not under contract with NSA. We just had an opportunity, and this was before Snowden and all that when we had this opportunity, and it's taken us 4 years to really bring it to the front here.
Well, I'm glad to give you a plug. That's great. Scrambl 3. Scramble with a 3 instead of an E.com, and it's on Android and iOS.
And we're offering a free trial period right now, just for people to go check it out. It will get better. We are seeking investment as well, so just keep that in mind.
And this is secure text messaging?
And voice.
And voice.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be funny if the FBI sued the NSA? Hey, you got to weaken your encryption, NSA.
if it weren't for the fact that they go to the NSA to get all the information.
I know, this is hysterical.
Yeah,
no wonder it's confusing. Congress has no idea what to do now. You know, and I will give you a plug for this. Of course, there are a lot of choices out there that use strong encryption. You always want to make sure that my personal preference for encryption is open source, because then people can look at it.
It's all based upon open source.
Yeah, I think that's great, because then somebody can say, well, is there a backdoor in it, and can verify that there is or is not.
Yeah, there is no backdoor.
Yeah.
And we're operating on IBM power equipment, which is very high-end, high-powered stuff.
Well, I'm thrilled that you called, and thank you for the recommendation. Scramble with a 3. I just started using something called Wire from a Swiss company. It's using it's a completely open source product using OTR, which is very important to emphasize that encryption and crypto in general is a very highly skilled technique. And you shouldn't do your own. And a program like, let's say, Telegram, which I love, that rolls its own encryption, makes up how to do it, is almost certainly going to be flawed. You want encryption that is, been banged on by experts, by the really smart crypto guys, which, of course, the NSA hires many. But I've been using Wire, which is based on one of those strong encryption technologies, OTR. They just updated to do voice, video calls, and messaging. I've recommended in the past Telegram, which I love. It's fun, but don't think of it as real strong encryption. I think one way to fight this whole battle is just everybody use encryption. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Just everybody should use encryption. Because we deserve to be private. Sorry, but we do. We do. Let's see. I don't think I only have a minute left. Maybe we can get Norm settled in here. Diamond Bar, California. Hi, Norm.
Hi, Leo. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Okay.
My question is not nearly as esoteric as what you previously had. I have a college student daughter. She is a junior, and her Toshiba A4100 laptop is on the fritz.
Good. Get rid of that. That thing is 800 pounds.
It's got a 14-inch screen, and she wants to stay with that size. And I know there's a new kind of solid-state drive that's out there. I wonder.
Get a solid-state drive. They're much faster.
Okay.
Get 4 to 8 gigs of RAM. For Windows, I like Dell. I like Lenovo.
Okay.
Both of those are excellent. I think a Mac is also a good choice. Look at these extra lightweight from Apple. And then she might want to take a look at Microsoft's Surface Pro 4. I think a very nice kind of hybrid tablet and desktop that's really great for students, especially if she ever wants to use touch and a pen. Those are all excellent choices. But yeah, SSD, 4 to 8 gigs of RAM, and a beautiful screen, always the must. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows on the Netcast network. It's called TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. You even get your daily dose of tech news with Tech News Today. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.